Okay, welcome back once again to Rev's DVD Haul Part 3, Take 2. I say Take 2 because I actually was just about done recording Part 3. I was down to just about to show the last DVD in the pile, and my computer crashed, and I lost all the footage for Part 3. So I'm going to try and redo it. Might have lost a couple little insights on some things, but I'll try and make them up best I can. Freed up a bunch of space. I'm probably going to have to buy another external drive because my other one's just about full now. But I freed up quite a bit of space. Says I should be able to record another 6 hours, yeah. So hopefully I can do this in like 15 minutes. I had to go back through and rewatch the other one to see where I left off, and I believe I left off on Alexander. So the next thing in the pile was M. Night Shyamalan's Lady in the Water. This movie, you might be saying, why the hell would you buy that? This movie's a bit of a guilty pleasure of mine. I know how bad it is. I see the flaws in it, but something in it draws me to it, to where even though it's bad, I still like it. This was one of the points when M. Night Shyamalan was still kind of interesting. It has some aspects of magic, some aspects of superhero stuff, story writing in general. Just a lot of little tidbits on it that make me like it enough to where, as bad as it is, I can't hate it, and it kind of makes it a bit of a guilty pleasure. This was also probably one of the harder ones to find because I actually own just about every M. Night Shyamalan movie except for maybe Signs, and this was like one that I've been missing for a while, and I almost couldn't find it anywhere. I've looked and looked and looked, and then I finally found it in the dollar bin at a random video store. But yeah, this is something that hasn't been available even in like Walmart's $5 bin for quite some time. So now I finally own it. Next up, this one I got because at the time of its release, I kind of loved the visuals of it, even though it's very CGI based, and I know CGI is kind of heavily overused now, but this was back like around when CGI was first becoming heavily used, and something about the visuals in this movie, it was what they could do with CGI that they weren't doing, or something along those lines. So I more or less liked this movie just for that aspect as opposed to the actual story itself. Again, this might be one that I already own, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't think I do. I'm like 90% sure that I don't, but there's a 10% chance that I do. And that is the live-action Speed Racer. Like I said, this was back at the... again, not sure what year it was. But I remember this came out like when CGI was first becoming kind of overly saturated. And this was the first film I saw where I was like, see, if every movie used CGI to that degree, I could love CGI, but because how everyone was using it, yeah. And not really much to say about that one. Another kind of guilty pleasure thing. Okay, next up is another sequel. I'm not sure if I even own the first one. I probably do. I want to say I do. Not 100% sure. Again, this is a sequel to the Jim Carrey comedy classic Bruce Almighty, and this is Steve Carell's Evan Almighty. When this came out, a lot of people were like, well, it's not really a sequel as much as it's a spiritual successor, because it's a completely different character doing I Get to Be God for a Day, which isn't actually true, because what most people forget is Steve Carell was in Bruce Almighty. He was Evan, the other reporter who kept topping Jim Carrey's character of Bruce out for the anger slot. It's the guy who Bruce set his hair on fire, made him speak gibberish on the newscast, the I like the cha-cha. Yeah, that was Evan. So now, I guess basically because Bruce ended up kind of ruining Evan's life by the end of that movie, God kind of takes Evan in and is like, you know, since I kind of screwed up your life, here's your second chance to do something. And a lot of people forget that. Like, especially when this first came out, I heard a lot of people saying, well, it's just a spiritual successor. And it's like, no, it's a direct sequel. Evan was in the first one, and this is his story. Um, so yeah, up until now, even right now, I have not seen this movie. I just know like the basics that he basically takes on the part of Moses and has to build an ark. Um, Other than that, I've seen nothing of this, but it's something I've been wanting to watch for a while. Another one that's been kind of hard to find, just like Lady in the Water. I've like Bruce Almighty's in the $5 bin at Walmart right now. It's on Netflix. Like I said, I probably own it. Um, Evan Almighty's harder to come by, but again, found it. Now I have it. Next up is Mr. and Mrs. Smith, starring Mr. and Mrs. Pitt, Brad Pitt, and Angelina Jolie. I believe they're still married, aren't they? They got like 300 kids together. A lot of people have negative things to say about this film. Personally, I like it. You know, I'm not much into the whole spy, like, just randomly go around shooting people, like Mission Impossible. Like, I like the first Mission Impossible, but beyond that, I haven't really followed it. Same with, like, Bourne Identity. I watched the first one. It was alright. Beyond that, don't care. James Bond films, I don't think I've ever seen one. Well, actually, yeah, I have seen one. It was one of the I think it was Goldfinger. It's one of the Sean Connery ones. But, you know, I've never been real big on the spy stuff. But this one, for some reason, I like the aspect of spies falling in love and getting married and not knowing each other were spies until they're ordered to assassinate each other. Yeah, I mean, yes, it had its flaws, but for some reason, out of all the run around shooting people movies, for some reason, I actually like this one. You know, it kind of falls in that line of like, what was the other one? Wanted? Or the Curve the Bullet thing. You know, it's like, I can kind of like this one better than that, although I do sort of like that one. At least I think I own that one. I don't know if it's been a while since I've seen it. I don't remember if I actually liked that one or not. But I remember liking this one, and again, it's another one that's been in the $5 bin at Walmart 100 times. But, yeah, now I finally got it. Next up, I mostly just bought this. I have seen this movie. It's okay, but I mostly just bought it this time to fill out a gap in my superhero movie collection, I guess. And this is Tim Allen's Zoom Academy for Superheroes. It's kind of along the lines of like Sky High. Another movie I'm not sure if I own. I don't think I own Sky High. I think it's on my list of things to buy. Actually, it might have been available for $1. I think I just didn't grab it because I had like $40 worth of DVDs in the cart by that point. And yeah, I think I might have passed on that one until next time. But yeah, Sky High I liked. This I watched the other day. It's along the same vein of that. Sort of. This one, it's not as good as that, but it's watchable. It's kind of along the lines of like the other Tim Allen movie, Galaxy Quest, where like first viewing you're kind of like, that's okay, but then it kind of gets that, well, that's on second viewing it's not too bad, you know, it's better, you know, and it's like kind of becomes one of those cult things. It's another Tim Allen comedy, where he's trying to play like a superhero or like a team captain type of thing. Not that he's a horrible actor, but maybe stay away from these type of roles. Of course, Galaxy Quest, being a captain, the comedic points were there, but yeah. So yeah, that's mostly just to fill out a space in the superhero line. What's next? Another one that I don't believe I own, but yet I own the sequel. Which I don't know why I do that. Like, I buy films. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, I own the second and or third X-Men, but I don't own the first one. Or maybe I do own the first one and not the second one, but then I have the third one. It's something weird like that. This is another one of those lines, and the only reason I'm pretty sure I don't own the first one of this is because my mother's boyfriend, back when I used to live closer to them, uh, he used to ask to borrow movies all the time, and I loaned him the sequel to this. Oh, by the way, this is Hellboy. I loaned him the sequel, Hellboy 2, the Golden Compass. No, Golden Army. Was Golden Army? Golden Compass? Yeah. No, Golden Compass was a different movie. That was. Yeah, it was Golden Army, I think. Or something golden, I don't know. But yeah, so I loaned him the second one. He goes, "Well, do you have the first one so I can watch both of them?" And I remember telling him I didn't have the first one, I just had the second. So that's why I picked this one, because I'm almost positive I don't have this. One good thing is it is the 2-disc special edition. So getting that, it's got the little sleevey cover. So getting that out of the dollar bin is kind of cool. The only thing I don't like is that they put their stickers on the outer sleeve instead of on the inner plastic cover. So that kind of pisses me off, but they're not like super gluey, so I should be able to pull it off no problem. But still, put it on the inside one, or like shrink wrap it or something. I understand you're getting rid of it for $1, but come on, But yeah, so Hellboy now in the collection. This one I got mostly just as a throwback again to my youth. Not one of my favorite movies by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a fun little ride to go on. And that is Bruce Willis and Hudson Hawk. If you haven't seen it, because you might be too young for this, it's basically Bruce Willis is a cat burglar, and he gets kind of blackmailed into committing a crime for somebody, and he kind of leads up to a double cross in a way. It was a fun little movie. It's got some good comedic parts, especially from Bruce Willis. I know he's got kind of this odd reputation in Hollywood as being this complete asshole right now, but this was back when he was young Bruce Willis. He still has hair. Pre-Die Hard. Actually, I think this came out around the same time as the first Die Hard. Maybe not. I don't remember years. But yeah, this was back before he went crazy, so this is when he was still fun Bruce Willis, so if you haven't seen it, give it a watch. It's actually a fairly decent film. Okay, next one up. Jesus. So now I guess I have to explain this one a little bit. It's a comedy starring Will Ferrell and John Hader, the guy who played Napoleon Dynamite. Some of you might be like, why on earth would you get that? Let me just show you what it is, and then we'll go from there. This is Blades of Glory. Now, I didn't so much get this one for the comedic aspect, because I'm not a huge fan of Will Ferrell. I know that's like blasphemy. I find him funny in some things, but not everything. The comedy in this is decent, but overall I think I purchased this film, or I actually enjoy this film, because I have a fascination with ice skating. I used to ice skate a long time ago. Ice skating is just something I've always been into since I was a little kid. Started out with roller skating, then I always wanted to ice skate, and everyone was always like, "Oh, you'll break your ankles. You're not used to ice skates because you're on a blade." And then around that time, rollerblades came out, so I upgraded my normal skates to rollerblades. Got used to those, and then I was like, what? I want to try ice skating. I love ice skating. I want to try it. So I strapped on the ice skates. I was right going. You get used to balancing on that blade from rollerblades. It's not a whole lot different. So I was just off and gone. And yeah, even before that though, I've always liked ice skating. Winter Olympics, when I was a kid, ice skating was one of my favorite events. Not just figure skating, like the speed skating. Figure skating I like just because of the art of it. Whether it's the singles or the pairs, just dancing on ice skates, it's ridiculous. Also, like I said, going all the way back to my childhood, I didn't really do any sports other than there's 2 sports that I actually ever paid attention to. one being hockey. But I didn't really follow hockey that much. But again, it's on ice skates. Uh, I played hockey for a short time. I was goalie. I don't like chasing a puck around the ice. I don't have good uh, puck handling skills or passing skills, but I can block the puck from going in a net. I'm a big guy, always have been. I take up like 90% of the net space. It's not hard for me to block a puck. Um, but yeah, I've always had this odd interest in ice skating since I was little. So when this came out, I think I saw this on cable one night, and I was like, oh well, let's see what it's about. And I watched it, and I don't know, I just liked it. Again, another one of those guilty pleasure movies. The comedy's enough to probably justify me saying that I have it in my collection, but more than the comedy, it's the ice skating. Um, there was another ice skating movie that came out probably right around the same time as this. I don't know what it was though. It has what the hell's that girl's name? Anyway, it's more of a chick movie, but it's I want to say Ice Queen or something. No, it's about a girl who takes an interest in ice skating. Joan Cusack plays the mother. Doesn't want her to ice skate. Doesn't want her to be like a little princessy girl. Wants her to be like a more modern girl. And the other girl whose mother's pushing her to ice skating doesn't want to ice skate. So then the other girl's mother takes this girl on as her student, and I can't remember what it's called. Ice Princess, maybe, something like that. Like even that, it's a chick flick, but I'm into ice skating enough that I watched it and I enjoyed it, which it's not targeted towards me. So the fact that I liked it, I don't know. I don't know what that says about me. Say what you will, but don't judge me.